Hello, everyone, and welcome to the initial Tuba Talk. My guest today, or rather, I'm his guest today, is founding member of the Atlantic Brass Quintet, active freelance musician, and associate professor for tuba and euphonium, Dr. John Manning. Thank you very much for
Hey, thanks,
being
Tyler.
here.
Thanks for having me.
So, first things first, ITEC, Tuba and Euphonium Conference is this year,
Yep.
and it's here in the beautiful Voxman building.
Yep.
How does that happen? I've always been curious, how does it start? Is it like the Olympics, you have to petition and compete to get a thing, or is it like they send in a sign-up sheet, like at PTA for the cookies?
Yeah, maybe it's somewhere in between. Cookies is always good, but they now have a proposal process. So first of all, you have to be willing to host it, and it's usually like someone on the faculty of a music school like me, or it might be a couple of people like they did in Linz, where they kind of got the city involved. But usually, you have to have the facility. You have to have a big enough space. So I think the prerequisites are to have at least 2 or 3 performance spaces that are big enough for a large crowd. You want multiple classrooms and larger rehearsal rooms, plenty of practice rooms. That's just the physical facility. Sometimes ITECs have had those things throughout several buildings. Sometimes it's 1 or 2. In this case, we're lucky enough to have everything under one roof. So I think it starts with the facilities. You can have a person who would be the best host in the world, but at that point, they don't have a large enough facility or something like that. I was actually asked years ago to host it before they had the submission process, and I would have been thrilled to do it, but we were kind of between facilities, between our flooded facilities in 2008 and when this building opened in 2016. So I said, as soon as we get a new building, I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
And so by that time, they had switched to a proposal submission system. And so I created a proposal saying this is, what the building is like, these are the facilities, this is the location, feasibility. I suggested a theme. You had to propose a sample budget just to kind of let you know what you'd be working with. So that's the process now, and I am pretty sure, because I haven't heard anything about where the next ITEC will be. Maybe it's a big top secret, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they are still looking, or if someone is interested in hosting an ITEC in the future, I think you should just think about your facilities, your willingness to dedicate, a year and a half of your life to that.
Yeah.
We have an excellent team now. It used to be that pretty much all the work would fall on the shoulders of the host, and maybe a couple other people to help out. Now, ITA is streamlined, and we have a great system where we have an ITEC conference committee, and that's comprised of 4 or 5 people that are active members that maybe have hosted regionals or have coordinated conferences in the past. So the nice thing is that team, they do everything from accept proposals for hosting regional and international conferences and deciding on where they end up being, and this is the best part for the host, they review and painstakingly spend hours reviewing all the submissions for proposals to perform or present at the conference itself. Therefore, the host doesn't have to go through all that.
Weeks of time.
It takes weeks,
for
yeah.
you.
Well, no, not for me. The committee does
for
it.
someone, yeah.
Yeah, that's the nice thing is the host is free to plan logistical things, to invite artists, to tie up the loose ends, to deal with the building.
Exactly.
So it's a good system, and that conference committee is key. And you would also receive a lot of help from the executive director, the president.
Because everyone wants it to be successful.
Yeah, let's hope, right? And fortunately, with the creation of distributing the responsibilities and creating a team, it's still a lot of work, but I think it was tougher in the old days when it fell upon the shoulders of 1 or 2 people.
Exactly. And so this conference committee, is it like an international committee, or is it mostly in the U.S.? I know that
Yeah, I
seems like
think,
as an international conference, that has to be so hard. You know, communicating with people from different countries. There's
Right.
a language barrier. There's
Mhm.
like how do you deal with that?
Well, currently, I think the makeup of the conference committee might be all people in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought that, let's strive as an international association to be truly as international as we can. But the trend has been that even though it's an international organization, and our demographics are changing, but I think there's a large percentage of people who are from the United States. And on the committee right now, I think it's mostly American
Okay.
teachers and players. But we also, there's plenty of international, if you look at the inside of the journal, there are plenty of international
Mm-hmm.
advisors, people on the board of directors from all over. So in addition to that conference committee, I have a great ITEC manager, Dr. Jenny Clarkson, has managed all the ITEC since Indiana. And the nice thing about that is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. She's basically in charge of the puzzle that is known as the schedule,
Yeah.
which is like a huge puzzle. And she also communicates with the artists, collects program information, solves problems, and she's the general on the ground during the conference. So if there are issues everywhere from registration to rooms and schedule, she's the person who does a great job doing it.
Gotcha.
And in the area of competitions, Chris Combest, who's been the competitions coordinator for
Mhm.
several ITECs, he's doing a great job. And fortunately, he oversees all of that with the help of, I think, around 40 or 50 judges, a bunch of other people who listen to the recorded round, but may not come to ITEC, and then the live judges will be here. So that's been a huge weight off my shoulders. There's
Yeah.
been very little that I have to do with competitions other than making sure they have the rooms and the equipment they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, equipment especially because it's exciting because they've got the new electronic music competition, which
Yeah, we're
is
excited
something
about
I'm
that.
super interested about.
Yeah.
And is a thing that seems to be a growing trend,
Absolutely.
which is really cool.
I see so much more interest in electronic music, either that be fixed media like playing with a CD, or actually have live interactive electronics or computer systems working with you. And that's been around since like about the 70s, but I think we've had an explosion in the medium because of the accessibility of the stuff, the increased and ease of technology,
Mm-hmm.
the improved synthesized sounds, new equipment.
Yeah.
All that's really increased in popularity. So we're excited to have that. We've got a lot of applicants, and we're excited about that competition.
Very cool. So speaking of artists and performers, I don't know if you can tell me this yet or not. I don't know if they've released the program yet, but what are some of the events and the performers that you would, and the exhibits that you would consider must see? Like something that you know, if you're going to go for one thing, what is it you cannot miss?
That's a really hard
I'm
question
sure it's a
to
really
answer.
tough question with all the great things
And
coming.
even if I had an answer, I wouldn't tell you because
Yeah.
I would bias everybody. So
Mm.
I would say that in general, there are going to be amazing master classes, warm-up classes, recitals during the day, presentations during the day, the competitions, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most popular events may be the evening concerts, which are traditionally featuring international artists, like the most well-known artists, such as Oystein Bosvik and Stephen.
Yeah, I remember that from Tennessee. That was a huge concert.
Yep. So the way I've structured the week, the evening concerts work like this. On Monday night, Sotto Voce is playing in the concert hall, and in the second half, Boston Brass is playing in the concert hall. So we decided to hit heavy right
Come on,
away.
swinging.
Opening night, grand opening, it's going to be fantastic. They both have great programs. Sotto Voce has a new piece they're premiering and working on. It's going to be fantastic. and Boston Brass is playing their usual amazing program, but they're also playing one piece with our amazing organ and our amazing organ professor. So it's not only going to be Boston Brass, but it's going to be the sound of this Kleist organ that's brand new
That'll be cool.
in the German tradition, and it's going to be pretty glorious. So that's night number one.
Night one, just to start with.
Yeah. And then we go bigger from that. The second night features Orchestra Iowa with several soloists. I remember when I went to the 2000 ITEC in Regina, Saskatchewan, really enjoying the fact that that all the soloists were playing in front of a full live professional orchestra, and that was one of my goals, to try to do that. And we've created a fantastic program, including Stephen Mead. Dave Saltzman is playing the brand new Samuel Adler concerto. Somebody else's duo, Gail Robertson, Stacey Baker, are going to play a brand new piece. Forgetting something. Sorry, let me check my notes. What am I forgetting? Nothing's forgettable. I just don't have a brain at this point. Oh, of course, Andreas Hofmeyer is playing a Duda concerto, and so that's all on Tuesday night. So let's see, Wednesday night we're switching over to the Fountain City Brass Band, the award-winning Fountain City Brass Band, and they're going to be accompanying numerous soloists, including Lee Harrelson, who is the musical director of the group, and he's going to play Anthony DiLorenzo concerto with Jonathan Bates on tenor horn. Patricio Cosentino is playing a solo piece as well as a duet with Lee. Velvet Brown is premiering a new piece, which I'm really excited about. Oystein Bosvik is premiering a new piece by his wife, and Tormod Flotten is playing an amazing concerto. I think it's the Ellerby, and so I decided to go big or go home.
Yeah.
So those first couple of nights are huge.
Yeah, it's two professional, award-winning chamber ensembles, a full orchestra, and a full brass band.
Yeah,
And that's just the first half of the week.
That's the first half of the week. So what are we on? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday night, there is no evening concert because we're having our ITEA awards banquet. And so that's going to be like a really expensive dinner that's included in the price of registration, and it's going to be at the Coralville Marriott, our official hotel. We have a huge banquet center. We're going to have a great meal, followed by awards ceremony, everything from Lifetime Achievement Awards to like the Bevan and the Bobo Awards, etc. Not to mention the awards for the competitors, those who win. There'll be an in memoriam slideshow, as well as maybe a few speeches and stuff. And right after that, we'll go across the hall to the after hours event that we'll be having. So in addition to these evening concerts every night at 7:30, every night we'll also have an after hours event at around 10 o'clock, usually featuring tuba euphonium jazz and or rock, and that will happen most nights just across the street at the Mill Restaurant. And it's our local jazz venue. And so there's a great lineup. Joe Dollard has been the coordinator for that, and he's lined up some amazing players. You're going to hear your favorite jazz, tuba, and euphonium players. We've got a great rhythm section coming up from Austin. And so Thursday night, since we'll already be at the Coralville Marriott for the banquet, we didn't want to have everybody come over there. So we're doing the after hours staying at the Marriott, and then the next night, because we couldn't get the Mill and everybody will be familiar with where the Marriott is, Friday night we're going to do after hours at the Marriott. And then the last night, on Saturday night, we're going to return the after hours event to the Mill across the street, because our evening concerts will resume on Friday and Saturday. So haven't even gotten through the evening concerts yet. On Friday, the featured artists include Carol Jansch, Aaron Tyndall, Brian Bowman and Adam Fry. Adam Fry is also going to do another piece. Roland Sempali is going to do a set.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergio Carolino and Gene Perporni are going to do some stuff that they just recorded. On Saturday, the grand finale concert is going to feature kind of chamber music and end with really a fun thing. We're going to start with Diana Swoboda with a percussion trio. And they're going to play a new James Grant piece called 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Van Emmerich and Tim Busby are going to play a piece for string quartet, piano, tuba, and euphonium. And Tormod Flott and Eric Jeredovic, Eric the Viking, I call him.
Yeah.
We all call him. They're going to do some duets from their nation's composers. And after intermission, we're going to finish up with Øystein Bodsvik. He's got some new pieces that nobody's ever heard that he's going to premiere. And the grand finale to the grand finale is an amazing euphonium player who plays in many styles, including jazz and rock, but this will be kind of a rock style feature with a horn section with 2 trumpets, 2 saxes, 1 trombone, and 2 tubas, and a rhythm section. And his charts are killer, like amazing playing. He wrote them, he plays them, he solos them. So that's the lineup for the evening concert. So if I had to say, don't miss one thing, I would say don't miss any of the evening concerts.
Yeah, that
But
definitely sounds.
plenty of other things.
Yeah. All right. So that kind of ties into, if it is someone's first conference, especially first international conference, how do you suggest they spend it? You know, do they try and see everything possible? Do they focus on one particular thing?
You know, the first time you go, you want to see everything. It's kind of like going to Disney World,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to ride Space Mountain, and you want to do this and that. So what I would suggest is we now have the master schedule available to download from the ITEC website. So I would download that. That's a quick way to look through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would circle the things you really want to go to, or the things you have to be at if you're a performer or a competitor. And then maybe have like another level of like, well, if I have time, I'd like to go to this, but I'm not. If I don't, that's okay. Because I think what happens is after a couple of days, even myself included, you get a little overwhelmed.
So much too.
And you need a little break. And so I would suggest, taking the breaks that you need. Go enjoy, our local Iowa City things to do. We're right downtown. There are plenty of restaurants and bars, and you can go to a park. And, you can see some local landmarks if you want. But definitely, I think pace yourself.
Go play on all the tubas down in the exhibit.
Yeah, and of course that's another thing. We haven't even talked about that. We're going to have 2 huge exhibit halls, plus 4 private rooms for the larger instrument manufacturing companies.
Mm-hmm.
So people can try tubas and euphoniums, mouthpieces, as well as shop for accessories, music, etc.
So that was always my favorite part of the conferences, is going and spending just hours combing through all the different music. And
it's nice to see it. Everybody orders stuff online, but you don't get to really comb through it and check every page, check out the range, get a feel for it. So, all of the dealers that are going to be here also sell stuff online, but it's great to just walk away with the hard copy. And usually,
or at least a list.
A list, at least. You're right.